Hello students, welcome back. So let's start with the second part of current electricity. In this part, we will study about the property of a conductor, that is resistance, and we will try to establish the relation between resistance and parameters of conductor. So let's find out what's in store in the second part.
Now we'll move on to the next part of current electricity, that is, we will now study about the resistance and the factors which affect resistance and also express resistance in terms of the physical features of the conductor. So let's start off with the discovery of resistance. So Simon Ohm was a German physicist who came up with the discovery of resistance. So corresponding to his discovery, he gave up a law which is known as Ohm's law. In his law, he stated the electric current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the two ends of the conductor when physical conditions such as temperature, mechanical strain, etc. remain the same. To actually get hold of his experiment or to his law, we need to get hold of his experimental setup first. So his experimental setup is very simple and it goes like this. So here's a conductor which is connected to a battery and the electric currents get set up to the conductor. So what he did is increase the value of potential difference and observe the value of the current in the circuit. So when he increased the value of potential difference, he saw an increase in the value of the current passing through the conductor. What he did, he plotted a graph between conductor, that is current through the conductor in y-axis, and potential difference across the x-axis. So he ended up getting this graph which shows that the current is proportional to the voltage, that is the current increases with voltage. So we can write this expression, that is current is proportional to voltage, voltage is proportional to current. Either way it goes, that's correct. So we can definitely write V is equal to Ri, where R is a proportionality constant, and he defined R to be the resistance. So why or how did he actually came up with the word resistance? We'll learn this in the next slide. He said that the resistance of the conductor is the opposition offered by the conductor to the flow of electric current through it. What he actually meant is when the electrons move inside the conductor, they do experience collisions with other electrons and atoms. Due to this, the motion is sort of restricted while moving inside the conductor. So this is the opposition which he related to as resistance. So now what we will do is try to find out this resistance in terms of the physical features of the conductor, that is the physical parameters, that is being it length, area, number density and various other parameters. So we know that we have established a relationship between the current and the drift velocity, which is given as I equals to NEA Vd, Vd being the drift velocity. We have also established the value of Vd, that is what exactly is the value of Vd in terms of electric field and relaxation time. So we'll substitute the value of Vd over here, and we also know that electric field is basically potential difference per unit length. So we'll use that value again over here such that we get a relationship between the current and the potential difference. So what we will do right now, we will club the potential difference V and I together. That is, we find the value of V by I. We also know that V by I is none other than the resistance. So my resistance comes out to be ml Ne square by Ta. So we can definitely make out that resistance is proportional to the length of the conductor. Resistance is inversely proportional to the area of the cross section. How does these proportionality, or let's say these mathematical expression relating resistance to length, resistance to area does make sense? We will study that in the next slide. So as I said, resistance is directly proportional to length and inversely proportional to the cross-section area of the conductor. It depends upon the nature of the material. So from the previous expression, we got R to be some constant times L by A. So this constant, which is denoted by as rho, is called as resistivity or specific resistance, and its expression is given like this: rho is equal to M divided by NE squared T. Now this tells me that if the external conditions are not tampered with, the relaxation times remains constant. N, that is the number density of electrons, is specific to the type of conductor, so that also remains constant. Electric charge, that is the charge of an electron, is a universal constant and same as the mass of the electron. So as a whole, resistivity becomes the property of the conductor. It's only depends upon the nature of the material, and if we make sure that the external factors are not tampered with, that's the only condition which we need to follow if we say that the resistivity depends only upon the nature of the material, not on the geometrical dimensions of the conductor. Now if we have a proper look at it, resistance is proportional to L. It definitely makes sense. If the length of the conductor is longer, then I have to travel a longer distance. That is, the electrons need to travel a longer distance. In doing so, they will face a large number of collisions. So large number of collisions actually mean large resistance. So that's why R is proportional to L. And if area is small or if area is big, that also makes a difference. If the area is small, now the same amount of electrons need to cross from a small cross-sectional area. So that yields high resistance. Same go, or let's say the opposite case goes for a large area. Now the same electrons have to pass through a large area, so the resistance falls off. Hence the proportionality relations are justified. Now we'll try to establish the relationship between drift velocity, resistivity, current, electric field, current density, and potential difference. We know that rho is equal to E by G, that is electric field divided by the current density, and we know the value of J, that is equal to NEVD. We use that expression over here. Try to find out the value of drift velocity in terms of electric field and other physical features. Now we are making a substitute in this particular case, that is making a transition from this expression to this expression, that is we're substituting the value of electric field to be potential per unit length. Why we are doing so is because of the fact that we measure potential difference, not the electric field. So hence, if we are able to express the drift velocity in terms of the quantities which we can measure, then we are able to calculate the value of drift velocity of any material. So that's why we are substituting the value of electric field in terms of potential difference. So, and these are the obvious expression or the mathematical equations connecting the physical quantities which we have used in finding out this relation. Now, as the name suggests, conductance is just the opposite of resistance. Conductance is actually how good a material is in allowing the flow of electrons, or let's say charges, across it or through it. So conductance is the reciprocal. So conductance is given by sigma, which is equal to 1 by rho. That is, this is conductivity, this is resistivity. It follows the same relation as that of resistance and conductance. So the SI unit of conductance, as an irony suggests, is just the mirror image of resistance, that is MHO. Same goes for conductivity. So conductivity is MHO by meter. We'll now try to find out the different factors which can change the resistance. So we'll first write down the expression which we got earlier in terms of different physical features of the conductors. So if I change any factors pertaining to this expression, then I will change the value of the resistance. Let's say I change the mass of the charge carrier. I cannot do so because the charge carrier is electron and the mass of electron never changes. So mass m, this m does not hold any say at the value of resistance. This is L, as we have discussed. L, that is length of the conductor, and the area of a conductor does play an important role in the variations of resistance. In the denominator I have N, that is number density of electron. Again, that's specific to the material, so I cannot change the properties pertaining to it. E again is the electric charge of the electron, so this also doesn't get changed. The only factor which I can tamper with is the relaxation time, T. Now if I increase the temperature of the surrounding, that is, I'm now tampering with the surroundings. If I increase the temperature of the surrounding, the conductor also gets that energy. So the conductor gets heated up, the electron starts to move faster, they have collisions, they have more collisions, and the time between the collisions also gets down drastically. So hence T, that is the relaxation time, also decreases drastically, and there is a rise in resistance. So if we increase the temperature, we decrease the value of relaxation time, that is the time between two successive collisions, and thereby increasing the resistance. This is the same thing which we have written over here, that is, when temperature increases, the number of collisions increases due to more internal energy and relaxation time decreases. Therefore, resistance decreases. Now we will try to figure out the exact dependence of temperature on resistance. So the expression is given as alpha RT minus R naught divided by R naught T, where R naught is the resistance at 0 degrees Celsius and RT is the resistance at some time T. Or alpha is R2 minus R1, R1 R2 minus R2 T2, where the values of R1 R2, T1 T2 are known. If we know the values of all these four things, we can definitely find out the value of alpha, that is the temperature coefficient of resistance. And obviously if R2 is less than R1, then alpha is negative. This temperature coefficient of resistance is negative. Now we will try to work out a problem based on the concepts which we have learned. So it's given that a wire of length L and area A is beaten into new wire of twice the length. Initially, the wire of current for a potential difference V was I. Find the reading of the current for the new wire given the potential difference is same. So let's say I is equal to V by R from the Ohm's law. We also know that R equals to rho L by A. Now I've beaten a particular wire into a length of 2L, and obviously its area will vary because the volume needs to be constant. So L into A, that is the initial volume, has to be equal to the final volume, which is equal to twice the length into A dash. So my new area comes out to be half of that of initial area. So the new resistance implies the new resistance is equal to rho times 2L times A by 2. Implies the new resistance is 4 times rho L by A, which is equals to 4 times R. So from this, say that the new current reading will be equals to V by 4R, that is I dash is equal to 4 times the initial reading.
So in this portion of current electricity, we studied about the property of resistance and how Simon Ohm came across this property resistance. We also figured out the factors affecting resistance, that is length, area, electric field and temperature across the conductor. So now in the next part, we will shift our attention to the commercially available resistors and the combination of resistors. So stay tuned.